So this question came in, and again, sometimes we compile questions, so we might get several questions that are sort of under the same like theme or heading. And so this one was around advocating for myself when I'm at the endocrinologist office. So like, what are the best ways to do that? Things that people can implement in their own lives.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love this one. And that's something I love to celebrate our clients who are doing this in the
Yeah.
endo's office. And I think some of it comes from people feeling bad about like, well, they're supposed to be the expert, right?
Mm,
Like they went to school for this, like they're the expert, they're really smart, and they know how to take care of their diabetes. And sometimes, or take care of my diabetes, they're the expert. And sometimes there's the reminder of, you know your body best. That's not to say go against your doctor's orders, right? But if something doesn't feel right, and if you're wondering, hey, should I do this? This doesn't feel right. I think I want to make this change, but my doctor disagrees. Then usually what happens with clients is we'll have like a bigger discussion about like, well, why are you feeling this way?
mhm.
Right? Why?
Yeah.
And it comes down to them saying like, well, I feel like they know better than I do. And it's like, but do they? Like, right? You spend 24/7 with your body, and you're with your doctor for like, depending on the doctor, between literally 5 and 15 minutes
Yeah.
every couple months. And that's not to say that they don't know. They're a great support system that you can have. And remembering that, so many times they say, look inward and know, you know the answers and you know what's best for your body. And so encouraging them to look inward, but really feel like, I think if you're struggling with advocating at the endo office, it's pausing and asking, well, why am I feeling this way?
Mhm. Yeah.
What's I feel bad. I don't want to hurt their feelings. I don't want to say something and like them think I don't trust them. And you say, well, is that more important than your health?
Yeah. Getting what you need, right? Yeah.
Yeah, give me what you need. And so I think that's like part of it, getting to the root of like, why do you feel like you're getting stuck with advocating for
Yeah.
yourself, and coming with the mindset of like, I'm the expert of my body.
Yeah.
I'm not the expert of endocrinology, but like I'm seeing this in my body and this is what's happening. Here's what I think I
Yeah.
want to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, and that's like so good. I think asking yourself those questions and like being in that reflective state of like, really, what is the block for me? Like, why am I uncomfortable? Is this, do I need a different provider? Do I feel shut down every time I go? Like there might be something there to explore once you start to ask those questions. The other thing I was thinking about, again, I hear a lot of these stories on the front end, thinking back to the client that was LADA and adult diagnosed, if you think about it, with with almost every other medical condition, I'm sure maybe there's a few exceptions, the dynamic is you go to your provider because they do know best, right? If it was cardiology related, or if it was neurology related or whatever, well, yes, like those, that is absolutely true. It's just, I feel like type 1 in particular is so unique in that it's such a lived daily experience that demands insight, and you have to pay attention to it, and you have to know, and it's like lived literally in the daily, that dynamic automatically sets it apart as like a different sort of condition. And so you do wind up becoming the best expert because you're forced into that, right? It's not by choice. You literally have to. But if it was any other diagnosis, that might not be true. I always use the analogy of, again, it's my son that has type 1, but my daughter has a condition sort of like epilepsy where we see a neurologist. I would never make changes to stuff without asking her neurologist. But like her condition is managed in such a different way, right, than my son's type 1. And I think if you're diagnosed as an adult, you've lived your whole sort of medical experience under that sort of framework. And then you get this condition that almost is the opposite of everything else.
Yeah. Yeah. And I had a client who was diagnosed as an adult after having breast cancer, going through breast cancer treatments, and going back to like, she was going through the stages of grief, right? And the acceptance piece. And then she was afraid to make any changes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't understand basal rates and basal settings. There must be a reason why my doctor made these, and I don't understand what it is. So we talked about basically, how can you be more confident?
Yeah.
How can you get more knowledge about basals? Let's talk about it. You want to go talk to your doctor at the next appointment? Ask questions. And she got to the point where it was, oh my gosh, I love her. Only after a few sessions, she'd send me a message and say, guess what? I finally made a change to my basals. I thought overnight I needed to make a change, and my doctor said, I'm not sure, but I told myself, I know that I need
Yeah.
this. And I made the change, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
And that was her like doing what she needed to do to feel confident in making those changes and advocating for herself, with the doctor. Like, I'm seeing all these patterns and I understand the system, and here's why I'm
Yeah.
saying that I need this.
Yeah. Well, and to your thing around like asking yourself those questions, because for this, person about maybe the root of it is I don't feel confident in my own knowledge base, or I don't feel confident in my own patterns, so that I use this language sometimes with clients. It's like the feeling that you've outsourced your authority. It's like
Yeah.
I've handed my authority over to somebody else. And because I don't feel confident around it, when I go into those appointments, I'm sort of in a passive position of like, okay, well, I'm just sort of I'm here for you to tell me, because I don't really feel confident in any of this. And so sometimes that is sitting at the root of it, right? It's for your client. It's like once she educated herself and felt more confident, she knew that she was empowered to make those decisions and like she could do it.
Yeah. And then it's so much easier to advocate for yourself,
Yes.
right? Then it's like, why
Yeah.
wouldn't I? It becomes
Uh,
very natural, but you got to get, all about getting to the root, right?
yeah.
If we're not getting to the root,
Yeah.
then it's going to be really hard to do anything. So like getting that confidence, building
Yeah.
it, then it's the natural thing to do. Why would I not say anything?
Yeah.
Because this is what I
Absolutely.
know.